Connecting. Okay, welcome to today's training on hire process and predictive index. Yesterday, many of you met Ann Norton. Ann is our predictive index consultant from Denver, Norton Consulting and Training. Fantastic lady, very, very well known in the hospitality industry. Predictive index is actually known for most known in the hospitality arena, but it's used in a lot of other arenas. One of the reasons why we know PI is because Ann Norton was a major consultant for Vail Resorts during a transitional period in which several of us actually worked for Vail Resorts, so we got the opportunity to meet her then. Predictive index is rather expensive to become an analyst in and have access to. We do spend thousands of dollars a year to have access to the software, but you have to have at least one analyst. Patrick and myself were both analysts, but now it's just me. We will probably train a couple more people in predictive index at some point, but it's rather expensive, so we'll probably be pretty darn selective on who that is. Predictive index is a great tool, but there are certain things it does not cover. Basic intelligence being one of them. It talks a lot about how you think, how you interact with teams. It doesn't tell you if you're introverted or extroverted, even though we talk about introvertedness or extrovertedness. It's actually how much you value people and how much you interact with people. It's not a true measure of introvertedness versus extrovertedness. There are a lot of those things that we have to weed through the hire process before we can even get into predictive index. So we're going to start off by talking about the hire process. I'm going to open up a window, a Dropbox window here, and I'm going to go to Supervisor Documents, then I'm going to go to HR for Supervisors, and then I've got hire process right here, hiring process. Hiring forms, and inside this forms is a document that says how to hire flowchart. When I open up this document, this is the Bible of how we hire. And so you can fill out a requisition change form. And you can complete a PRO. A PRO is the predictive index survey for what you want in the person that you are trying to hire. That's what a PRO is. Okay? So one of the first things that we do is fill out these PRO checklists. All right. I will actually log into predictive index. Well, it looks like I was last viewing the Vail Daily article. I'll log into predictive index, and this is how we start the pros. Okay, we go up here and we go to the PI campus and we email a pro survey out. Okay, for this conversation, I'm going to open this checklist so you can see what a pro is. I will put in a fake job description here. And I will do today's date, completed by Todd. And then you go through and it prompts you 2 pages of questions to answer. You click next and then you get a report at the end. And the reports are saved on the supervisor level where you have access. So I'll go into Dropbox, Supervisor Documents, HR for Supervisors, and Pros. This is the pro for every job that we have pros on. Okay? You can see what an area manager pro looks like. You open it up and you get a Word document with every single thing that we want, attributes that we want the area manager to have. Okay? This is the makings of a job description. We answer questions and get a 4-page report. We don't make things up and start typing. That's not how this works. We answer questions, get a 4-page report, and then create a job description. Make it easy on yourself. This is a lot of work that you don't have to do because it comes to you in a report because you answered questions. You do have to email Candy to get your pro link, but what you do is in the the how to hire flowchart, you start with the requisition change form and create a pro. This is your first step. Okay? You email those forms to management@lonestarsecure.com. Then your change requisition form and job description after you're done editing your PI to make it into a job description, you email those to careers. Okay? So what will happen in these hiring forms, every form that I talk about is in here. Okay? So let's look at this. Requisition change form and job description. Requisition change form is right here. Basic things you fill out. Okay? Very basic information. Then the job description that you end up writing is also in that same hiring forms. Position description template. See, this is your template, and this is where you can copy and paste off of that pro, so you don't have to make things up. You add actual job duties that they're doing. PI doesn't say things like IT and payroll. Those are skills, right? So you add those specifics, but the PI, the pro survey actually shows you what attributes you want them to have. Head values and heart values. Okay? So this is the next step. All internal and external candidates submit resumes to careers@LoneStarSecure. Internal and external, both. Okay? Then you invite them to hire sessions. Whether you have sidebarred with them or not, you invite them to a hire session. How to do a hire session? Well, in the hiring forms is hire session outlines for Eagle, Grand Junction, and Denver. They're different. So in here, it's all of the information that we go over during the hire sessions. If you want to see a hire session training video, go into, back it up to HR for Supervisors, hire process, and you've got a hire session video right here. Now I got to tell you, this is pretty dry. This is probably not something that you want to do. But you can at least watch one and find out how we do them. If you haven't been in one in a while, it's a reference for you. Okay? Going back into the hire process, hiring forms, and looking at the how to hire flowchart, okay? The external applicants will attend a hire session, and we will either hire them by completing the employee action form, which is in here, and we will then send a copy of the applicant's resume and applicant rating form to, right? This is to newhire@LoneStarSecure.com. Present the applicant with new hire instructions. Okay? So we have employee action form right there. This form is what you fill out to hire someone. Then you present to the person that you're hiring the employee action, the new hire instructions. You just read this thing. New hire instructions are right here. Some sites have different new hire instruction sheets that have been approved. If you want changes made, all you do is email Candy. She'll approve them or not. It says that this person has to do these things. They turn in a background check. They submit their copies of their driver's license, birth certificate, social security card, U.S. passport, permanent resident card. They submit a color photograph, 2x2, 600 by 600 pixels. This just looks like a passport. This will be used on an employee ID one day, I promise you. Then if you've been selected to work at a site that requires you to drive a company vehicle, then you do this, and there could be drug testing and a whole bunch of other stuff. You give this to them and you write a due date in here for 3 business days. The hire process, the point is, the first thing that we are grading, can they use a computer and follow instructions? Can they email a resume to careers@lonestarsecured.com to apply? Can they find their way into our office? Can they pass the basic questions that we're asking? Can they follow these new hire instructions? If they're not willing to pay $6.85 to complete their own background check, then they're probably not the right person for us. It's a process that will naturally weed out people we don't want because they can't follow basic instructions. The interview never stops until they're actually on the ground working. It just keeps going. Even when you hire them, you're hiring them at basic pay rates according to the hire session sheets that I just showed you. And there's caveats even on this, even on the new hire instruction sheet. It says if you don't complete this by the due date, you're done. Our offer for employment's revoked. For each applicant, we're filling out the applicant rating form. I'm going in here and I'm looking at the applicant rating form. All of these forms are editable, right? So you can actually copy them and use them. The applicant rating form, customer service 1 through 5, leadership 1 through 5, experience 1 through 5, attitude 1 through 5, appearance 1 through 5. Just give us a baseline of what you basically thought of this person. That's all we're looking for. And it explains the 1 through 5 rating system right here, again, on this sheet for you. Don't show them this. They don't need to see this. This is for us. Oftentimes, an area support supervisor will be grading or coaching in preparation for the person to meet with a specific site or an area manager. Or an area manager will be grading or specifically interviewing somebody for a site, but wants the contract manager to actually choose their own team. How is this accomplished? By using applicant rating form. You know the basics of what this person thought of you when you pass them on. You didn't say this is a slam dunk person for you. This is a person I vetted. This is how they vetted out. Do it as you wish. I think they'd be okay. You can decide if they are great. Emailing all of this to careers@LoneStarSecure means that we will put it into their applicant form or applicant database. Okay? If you do not want to hire the person and you think that they are terrible for our company, then let HR or the site manager know, and they will send out a thanks but no thanks letter to this individual, TB&T. Thanks but no thanks letters are also on the hiring forms right here. Says thanks, get lost. There's some standard data here for you. You can send them the nicer version or the short version. Here's what we do not do. This is a major takeaway. We do not tell anyone why we are not hiring them. This is a big no-no that will get you in all kinds of trouble. You just say, thanks but no thanks. You say, we're going to go a different direction. I appreciate your time. You do not explain ever why. We don't have to. And if you do, you open yourself up to a world of problems. Then they think it's a discussion. Or they sue you because you discriminated. Even if you don't think so, it's still discrimination in somebody's mind and we're still going to pay it out. I promise you, if you give someone a reason why, it's going to haunt you. Don't. We're going to move a different direction. I appreciate your time. Don't be afraid to pull somebody out of the hire session and just say, I appreciate your time. We're going to move a different direction. Thanks for your time. Get them out. Hire sessions have a place for a reason. Let's go back to that, how to do a hire session form. Hire session outline. Okay? I'm only asking these questions. You can ask slightly different ones if you want, but these questions are based on behavioral interviewing techniques. Tell me a time when. Behavioral interviewing is not your theory on how. It's when. Tell me a time when you showed your shining moment in customer service. Tell me a time when you've lost sleep over your work. Tell me a time when you had a confrontation and how you handled it. Let's go through these seven questions. I thought there were 6. Tell me a time about a confrontation you've had and how you've handled it. You're looking for, are they an escalator or a de-escalator? Do they escalate a situation and a confrontation? It takes 2 big jerks to be in a bar fight, not 1. 2. Most fights have 1,000 ways out before they start. We do not want escalators. Early on, Lone Star was known for a guy who was a bald-headed guy who the police department called anger management. He'd rattle them all up and throw them in the back of a paddy wagon and expect the police department to actually fire them or actually press charges on them. The police department would drive around the corner and let them go. They called him anger management. That's not who we want on staff. We want de-escalators. You could put a plant, if you have a large room, you could put a plant in there saying, hey, I got in a bar fight once and this is how I handled it because I show I can handle myself. Well, everybody talks about their bar fight. Guess what? Get them all out of the room. If they talk about their bar fight, if they talk about being an escalator, it is a big red flag, not a little one, a big one. Cut them. Tell me about your shining moment in customer service is the next question. Here's the piece on why customer service is so important. It's not what you're paid to do. It's what you go above and beyond what you're paid to do. That's customer service. Did they stay inside their scope of management to provide customer service or not? One of my favorite questions is, do you want me to explain customer service for you? If I'm offering that, who says no? Somebody who's arrogant. You'd be amazed at how many people say, oh yeah, no, I know what customer service is. You sure you don't want me to explain it? Nope, I don't want you to explain it. Okay, answer the question. And they stay within their scope of responsibility, and I give them a bad grade on the question. You know, the people who are true customer service, man, they have stories. And it's not, you know, everybody's got their theory, and, oh yeah, you have to go above and beyond for the customer. Great, tell me a time when you did it. Don't tell me your theory. Tell me a time when you did it. Tell me a time when you lost sleep over your work. I'm looking for 2 answers. 1, did they lose sleep because they were scheduled? Well, that can be good, okay? Because, yeah, I was scheduled back to back and I hated it. Well, okay, maybe that's bad. I was scheduled back to back and, they were stuck and it's what I had to do, so I lost a lot of sleep that day. And, I was happy to pitch in and do it. Oh, okay, well, that's a great attitude. Appreciate it. Or I lost sleep over my work because I was worried. I have ownership in my job and I take it seriously. I was worried about it. Well, that's a good attribute. That's ownership. That's what we really want right there. That's the right answer. Tell me a time when you told someone above you that they're wrong. I want people who stand up for the truth. Okay? When we get into the values and visions thing and the mission statements here pretty soon, I'm going to be accused of disvaluing loyalty. That always happens. Well, you don't value loyalty and you tell me that. No, I value loyalty. I don't value when loyalty takes over from your ability to decipher right from wrong. I don't value loyalty when it's a drug cartel and they're willing to murder over it. There's a difference. When your moral compass is skewed because your value of loyalty, it's a problem. You can tell this by how they answer, whether they told someone above them that they're wrong or not. Because those people who say, "Oh no, I never speak up. I will never speak up." No, they're probably not security guards. It's the people who say, "This is wrong. Can we fix it?" It's okay. We talked a couple of days ago or a couple of weeks ago about leaders, followers, objectors, and mutterers. Objectors you will find very fast in here. I tell people they're wrong all the time. It's not a bad thing. Mutterers are the ones we don't want. And you can find the mutterers here also. When they go, "I would never tell anybody they were wrong, but I turned around and told everybody else he was wrong." That's a mutterer. Goodbye. Get out. If I really get to the rest of these questions, it's because I'm on the fence on somebody big time and I don't know what I'm going with them. What are your goals? What else do you want me to know about you? What have you done to prepare yourself for this position? My favorite thing is to ask people what color our websites are, and they always say blue. That does not mean they wrote out our website. I don't have anything blue on any website anywhere. I hate blue. No blue. They lied. That's a problem. If you say nothing, I haven't, what have you done to prepare yourself for this position? Well, I checked out your website. Great. What color is it? Blue? Nope. Why did you say you checked out my website you didn't look at? There's 6 questions. That's it. Don't overthink it. Don't do too many. I'm looking for your attributes. Did you show up on time? How do you look? Do you have a good attitude? Did you listen during my presentation? Is your resume good? If somebody's resume is incredible, but they admit that somebody else wrote it, at least they're resourceful. I don't know. It's better than writing something on a piece of paper and coming in here unprepared. Can they follow up with the instructions? You're already done with a massive amount of interviewing. Don't make it more complex than these 6 questions. The applicant rating form is perfectly in line with these questions when you look at it. If you have an internal candidate, here's the deal. I don't care if you have a line level candidate applying for the CEO's job that get an interview. Period. And it's okay to tell them no, but they're going to get an interview. It's part of them learning what we're looking for and how we do it. I will actually start the interview with, "I don't think you're a real candidate for this. This is an internal person. Here are the things that you will need to improve to be a candidate for this. Okay? Here is exactly what we asked during this interview, and here's what I'm looking for out of the candidates. Use it as an education platform if they're nowhere close to the job. Use it as the ability to, somebody has raised their hand and stepped up and volunteered, take the time to meet with them. It's the right thing to do. A manager, a site manager. So if you have somebody you're going to follow up with later, it's okay to hire them under special events and then send that site manager their information, say this is what I thought of the candidate. They're already hired. You can have them for your site if you want, or just leave them in the special events pool. Or you say, hey, this person doesn't want to be in the special events pool. They just want this, and maybe you should interview them. Here's what I thought of them by using the applicant rating form. Or you send out a thanks but no thanks letter and say there's no way in hell this person's worth any time at all to review any further. Okay. If you felt that strongly about it, then chances are good we feel that way too. So thank you for not wasting my time. All of the follow-up for getting this person actually through the onboarding should be done by human resources. When you're done hiring and you no longer want to see applicants to turn off the flow, you do a requisition change form to close that requisition. Requisition has a number. Those candidates applying for it are assigned that number. Those numbers and those candidates are tracked for EEOC, Equal Opportunity Guidelines. Okay? Questions on this process or anything I've covered? Ask questions. Can anyone still hear me? Kayla, are you there?
Todd, I can hear you.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right, so take yourselves off mute and let's start talking for a minute, okay? Who thinks that they have a really funny story about a hire session in past?
I do.
Let's hear it.
So we're when it was Brent and I were hiring for special events, and I think it was for the Burton. We had the interview session that started, I believe, at 1400. Two guys walk in at 14:15. We sit down, start asking them the first couple questions, and I don't recall exactly which question it was, but one of the guys that was with them, he's like, I think it was about the customer service, and he starts talking about how he carried out a lady's pizza from the pizza parlor, whatever it was, where he worked. And we're like, okay, well, do you have any other job experience? He's like, nah, man. He goes, I don't do anything like that. We're like, okay, well, why do you want to work in security? He's like, because I think it'd be cool to carry a gun. And then we're like, okay, well, where are you headed? He's like, oh, we're coming down from Minnesota and we're going out to California. I'm like, Brent's like, well, why do you want a job here? He's like, oh, because we're just passing through. We want to see if we can get a job and carry some guns. So needless to say that Brent's like, all right, guys, thanks for your time and take care. Have a nice day.
That sounds interesting. I had one where I had a guy walk in and he had two AK-47s tattooed right up here on his neck.
Yep.
Two Russian guns. And I walked in the room and there was a bunch of people in the room waiting from our staff because they wanted to see what I was going to do. And I walked in the room and I go, get out. And he goes, well, what are you talking about? I haven't even interviewed. And I said, you're the one who decided to tattoo that stuff on your neck. Just go. I don't want to hear about
That was a
it.
big session too.
Yeah, I was just like, no, I didn't even let him stay for the session. No, if you've been in a hire session with me, if you haven't done one, you need to do one with me first. Okay? You may not do one alone. You can help with one, right? You can help the area manager or whoever. But if you haven't done one with me, I will come out and do them, schedule them so I can be there. Okay? I love hire sessions. I was a corporate executive recruiter for Vail Resorts for 18,000 seasonal staff. I love them. Candy, I brought her in to tell us about. Tell me about a confrontation you've been in and how you've handled it. What was your favorite answer?
Well, it's a little bit biased because we set up an interview one time with a person that already worked with our company, and had him be an interviewee, so nobody knew that he worked for the company. And we had him give an answer to this question that was extremely violent. He was a little dude, and his answer was something about some biker outside of a gas station. And him pretty much fighting this biker outside of a gas station. And
Again, a plant that showed escalation that says, I can handle myself. Because the true escalators will come out there and they'll start saying, oh, yeah, I can handle myself too. And here's a time where I handled myself.
Yeah, so he gave his answer, which prompted other people that were actually interviewing for jobs to give very similar answers. And it was like, nope, we don't want you, you know, whatever. Because it was all people, a bunch of people that actually said, oh, you know, this bar fight, and I got involved, and this and that, and they were all true escalators, and it really, really pointed out the fact that, you know, people kind of feed off each other, and, you know, that was their true self, I guess.
Okay, so tell us the story.
So, the story of Rob?
No.
Oh.
The he died in my arm story.
Drug story.
You tell that story.
Quickly, because we're on video.
We had an employee interview, and the story that he had to prepare himself for the industry was that he went to a big drug party once, and his buddy got stabbed, and he died in his arms.
After this big, massive stabbing knife fight, his buddy dies in his arms.
Still works with us today. He's a really good guy.
And that's how he was in a confrontation and how he handled it. That's a winner. And you'd be amazed. In the hire sessions, I will frequently be eating or looks like a slob to a certain extent, or use a curse word, or sit with my feet up. You need to take the room down a notch and get the real people. You need to actually identify with them, open yourself up as less than professional to actually get the real answers. Okay? When you go through the hire sessions, the first thing you do is you talk about the company, who we are, what we do, our professionalism, all of this, and you don't butter it up, right? It's very rigid. This is how we do this. This is process. Then you go into the questions. This is where you really try to identify with the person. You say a cuss word, you sit funny, you talk too much, you know, whatever it is. Eat. Seriously, eating. It's amazing. People, how they act differently when you have food in your mouth, even if you're the only one eating. Then you kick out the losers. Okay? You know these people are not going to make it. Get them out of the room. Goodbye. Okay? Then you say, okay, I was doing that to get the answers I needed to. Now let's be professional. This is how we do this. This is part of the behavioral interviewing techniques. Those stories were amazing. Those aren't the people we want. You're the people we want. Let's talk about the next steps in getting you hired. Okay? The motivating factors on why someone works for an employer, one of their top reasons is to see the assholes get fired. I said that because it's actually in Newsweek magazine. That way. I'm sorry, Inc. magazine. That way. Those people who are the right fit will respect us because you kick the people who are not out. This is a joke. Get out. And then you get the right people in the room. You can talk about them. Then you say, great, you're done. And you, my top candidate, stay late. I want to spend extra time with you. And then when he's the only person in the room or she's the only person in the room, you say, you're my top candidate. You identify you're better than everybody else. What's your goals and aspirations? What are you doing here? How's this work? You actually spend the quality time with the people you need. You can interview 17 people in 1 hour. Don't waste your time. 17 people in 1 hour. More than 17, you better have another interviewer because it just doesn't work out very well. You can barely get everyone to talk. So magic number at 17. Don't waste your time with one-on-one interviews for an hour. It's worthless. Hire sessions. You can identify the top players. You can get the other players out. You say the same amount of stuff. You identify the top players and have them stay late. Okay? Then you don't have to hire them on the spot. You can say, I want to think about this, or I want to spend an hour with you next week. That's your time. Now you're not wasting an hour with every one of these people. You have an hour with the applicant you actually want. Now you're down to the importance factor. Okay. Any other stories or questions? Stories? Okay. Then what I'm going to go into is there's some maps out here under hire sessions. Where's the applicant? The applicant folders.
Supervisor, HR, recruiting.
Okay, so HR for supervisors, recruiting, and then you've got individual areas. So Eagle and Summit, Eagle County. These are the applicants that are currently in the works. Okay, here are Front Range. Here's all the people who have applied for Front Range jobs. Okay, these folders hold the resumes and all kinds of other information on them and the open requisitions. Okay, these are the templates and open requisitions that are going on. The applicant tracking database here. Okay, and this is where every applicant's information comes in and a link to their Dropbox file. Okay, and you can go back here and you can look at all of the applicants' phone numbers, the emails, what requisition they're assigned to, what area they're hired for. All of this information goes onto the employee data sheet when they're hired, and their folder gets moved into the employee HR folders. Okay, and when they're an applicant, you as supervisors have full access to everything that we have on them. Hyperlinks to their Dropbox folders. Okay, where you can pull resumes or applicant tracking forms or applicant rating forms. Okay, everything applicant related is all in here. All right. If somebody feels very strongly against one candidate, I don't care where they're at, we don't need to bring them in. We can hire based on culture. What's the culture of your area? What's the culture of your contract? Is the culture that you all drink a beer and bicycle to work? Great. Hire people who drink beer and bicycle to work. Don't tell someone in the interview, I'm not going to hire you because you don't drink beer and bike to work. That's what gets you in trouble. But you choosing the beer drinker and bicyclist, you don't have to write down why you chose them. Hire on the culture you want to promote. It's your time to teach culture in your organization from the beginning, hiring. These people who are doing this alpha class is because they're hiring the people who want to do alpha class. Hire based on culture. Anything else on hiring that you have questions on? Want to know more about? Okay, mid-January, Candy's supposed to take over all the hiring stuff herself. And then Molly's supposed to take over some of the payroll stuff. That transition's still working it out. Any other questions? Okay. If you need ads, Candy handles all those ads. We currently have ads in 4 newspapers running for the next 30 days. Start doing hire sessions. Anyone can hire, guys. You can find somebody out there in the community and say, hey, you're pretty good. You should come work with us. Or your roommate, your neighbor, your friend who wants full-time, part-time. It doesn't matter. Don't, oftentimes people say, well, if I refer to you to somebody and they don't work out, does it come back negative on me? No, they're their own person. Okay? If you walk in and you vouch, they're a 5, they're a 5, they're a 5, well, that's different if they're not a 4. But if you just say, hey, yeah, you should come through our process, great. Okay? All of the information in the hire sessions is important. Literally everybody should be going through a hire session. All of that information and understanding how the behavioral interviewing works, even if they're a contract leader or a senior management staff, they need to go through a hire session. I remember I got pretty far, a lot of people said, oh, this guy's an amazing trainer, you need to meet him, just hire him, don't put him through a hire session, you need to meet him, he's amazing. I said, great, here's what we're going to do, invite him to a hire session. He came to a hire session. I hired him for special events. He worked 2 hours. And he said, I'm not capable of standing. Thank God this man's not a trainer in our organization. He left us high and dry at a concert after 2 hours. Not going to happen. There's a process for a reason. Hire everyone in the special events pool because they can work as little or as much as they want. We get the opportunity to try them out, and we encourage all of our contract managers to go and cherry pick from the events pool. Ryan, if you need somebody, you should be working the concert yourself so you get to rub elbows with these people, and you can say, hey, you were awesome tonight. Why don't you come meet with me? You're encouraged to steal from the pool of hundreds of people that we're already training and vetting for you. Bring others in from the outside. It's fun. What else?